I bought a lot of guns over the years. Some I still own, some I sold off quick. But there's a special kind of sting when you buy a 9mm, run a few hundred rounds through it, and realize you made a mistake. Sometimes it's a trigger that feels like wet cardboard, sometimes it's a jam in the middle of a drill with people watching, and sometimes it's a little voice in your head going, "You should have listened." These are the 10 pistols that left me pissed, disappointed, or just plain embarrassed. On paper, they look like solid picks. Some were hyped to hell. One of them even replaced my carry for about 2 weeks until it nearly cost me a situation I'm still not proud of. So take this as a warning. Before you waste your money, pride, or your safety, watch this video till the end. You might spot something sitting in your safe right now. Let's get started. These are the guns that fooled me. I trusted them, carried them, even bragged about some, and they let me down. If you're watching this with one of these in your holster, I hope I'm wrong, but if I'm not, you'll wish someone warned you sooner. Some pistols get carried because they're trusted. This one gets carried because nobody wants to admit they wasted money on it. The Diamondback DB9 is less a firearm and more a dare. A challenge to see how much punishment your hand can take before you quit. The promise on parchment. A marvel of size, a 9mm so small, so light, it vanishes beneath cloth as if it were never there. For concealment, the numbers sing of perfection, yet spec sheets don't bleed, men do. And in truth, the DB9 punishes its wielder. So frail, so slight, that every trigger press strikes the hand like a hammer blow. One magazine is enough to awaken regret and to ask why one ever placed faith in it. Durability? Questionable. Reliability? Hit and miss. Enjoyment? Forget it. Most DB9s live their whole lives half shot. A single box of ammo fired before their owners quietly slide them into the safe, never to see daylight again. The DB9 proves that smaller ain't smarter. Some guns disappear under a shirt, but this one disappears because nobody wants to shoot it twice. And if you think this is bad, wait till you see the curveballs hiding in the bonus round. 10 pistols down, and you would think that would be the end of it, but the gun world's got too many skeletons to leave it there. Some pistols aren't just bad buys, they're flat out jokes, traps waiting for the wrong buyer to step in. I couldn't close this list without dragging a couple more into the light. Call them bonuses, call them warnings, call them whatever you like, but don't call them yours. The 43X is the pistol a lot of folks grab when they want to feel secure. Slim frame, light on the belt, easy to hide under a t-shirt. Glock stamped its name on it, and suddenly half the carry crowd was calling it the perfect balance between concealment and control. Strap it on and you feel ready. But feeling ready isn't the same as being ready. 10 rounds on the mag, unless you go aftermarket, leaves you behind in a world where micro compacts now pack 15. Recoil sharper than you'd expect too, making fast follow-ups trickier than the brochure lets on. And while it'll punch paper fine at 7 yards, start pushing the distance and that comfort gun shows its limits quick. It's a pistol that makes you feel ready the moment you clip it on, but comfort isn't the same as capability. 10 rounds in the stack, less if you're running factory, is a thin margin when modern micros are stuffing 15 without breaking a sweat. Add in that snappy recoil and the truth shows. It's a carry gun built on compromise. Does it work? Sure. Up close, under a shirt, it'll certainly do its job. But the 43X isn't the king some make it out to be. It's a half step, a safe choice dressed as a bold one. Easy to carry, easy to sell, but it runs out of answers quick when things get ugly. And the pistol at number 1, that one doesn't trade strength for convenience, it brings both and makes damn sure you know it. Most pistols get judged on paper targets. This one ended up judged in court. The Sig Sauer P320 rolled in hot, landing fat contracts with the military and police, showing up in duty holsters all over the country. For a while, it looked unstoppable. When the stories started stacking up, officers swore theirs fired without a single trigger pull. Videos popped up of drop fires and mystery discharges. Suddenly, the pistol that was supposed to be the future of striker fire design was standing in front of lawsuits instead of just line targets. Now, plenty of shooters run a P320 and never see an issue. In fact, I've shot clean ones myself. Smooth trigger, modular chassis, easy to swap frames. But here's the catch: trust. Once you hear enough about a pistol going off when it's not supposed to, you stop relaxing when it's holstered at your side. A carry gun should feel like a guard dog. The P320, for some at least, feels more like a dog with a twitch. The contracts kept it alive, but for everyday shooters, that cloud never lifted. A pistol you don't trust at rest is a pistol you don't carry. And the next one? Folks still buy it in droves, but plenty regret it later. Scroll through any gun forum a couple years back, and you would think this pistol was the second coming. Photos everywhere, window cuts, flared magwell, slick angles. It was sold as the Glock killer, the factory-built Gucci piece that'd give you a custom performance for half the cash. Folks lined up to flex it before they ever fired it. And then the shooting started, and the story just flipped. Some ran fine, but plenty didn't. Reliability was hit or miss, triggers felt less custom and more cheap copy, and the accuracy didn't put stock Glocks to shame like everyone swore it would. Instead of showing up Glock, it showed up its own owners. The hype made big talk, but the gun couldn't back it. Folks who thought they'd found the holy grail ended up standing red-faced trying to explain why their premium Glock felt no better than the stock version they swore they were done with. That ain't pride, that's embarrassment. The truth is, the MR920 never earned the throne it claimed. If you want a true custom Glock, you build it piece by piece. You don't buy a half-baked imitation. This one promised to be different. Instead, it was just another pretender. You ever hand a buddy a pistol and silently pray it doesn't choke in front of him? That's the Firefly in a nutshell. A gun that makes its owner sweat more than the shooter downrange. It looks the part, a little 22 dressed up to mimic a Sig. Slim lines, tactical vibes, even feels decent when you first wrap your hand around it. But all that's just costume. The second you drop the hammer, the truth comes crawling out. Jams, stovepipes, failures to feed. This pistol turns range time into a clearing drill. What makes it worse is the ammo roulette. Feed it bulk 22 and it coughs, give it premium and it still complains. The Firefly doesn't just have quirks, it has bad habits that never die. New shooters walk in proud, thinking they scored a smart buy, and walk out humiliated when it sputters through a single box. I've witnessed it again and again. A pistol should inspire faith, yet the Firefly breeds only excuses. A 22 that falters, that fails to run, is worth less than the spent brass it casts aside. I understand. A lot of folks see the price tag and think the G3C is a steal. Decent capacity, compact size, all for way less than a Glock or Sig. On the shelf, it looks like the deal of the century. I even thought the same once myself. But let me tell you, mine jammed. Not once, not twice, but enough times that I stopped trusting it. Stovepipes, failures to feed, slide locking weird, you name it, it happened. And when I reached out to Taurus, nothing but crickets. No real fix, no we'll make it right. Just another number in the pile. That's when you realize cheap ain't always value, sometimes it's just cheap. Many people still fall into the very same trap. First week, they're grinning, bragging how they saved a couple of $100. Then a month later, they're red-faced on the line when it chokes halfway through a mag. Even dealers will tell you, they move a lot of them, but just as many come walking back through the door. A carry gun you can't trust is worse than none at all. The G3C promises more gun for less money. What it really gives you is less gun when it matters most. And the next entry on our list, that one hurts even worse because it came from a brand folks actually trusted. That trigger, yeah, I'll give it that. Out of the box, it's slick. Smooth pull, crisp break, better than half the so-called performance pistols that cost more. Folks bragged on it for years, swore it was the best kept secret in the gun world, but here's the punch in the teeth. Walther themselves didn't even stick around for the party. Soon as the PDP showed up, the PPQ got pushed in the corner like last season's boots. Owners dropped cash on holsters, mags, upgrades, then woke up one day and found the company acting like the PPQ never even existed. That's not just a problem, that's betrayal. And yeah, it is bulky. In an age where carry guns are trimming down, the PPQ feels like strapping a cordless drill to your side. You'll notice it, your belt will notice it, and eventually you'll quit carrying it. So sure, the trigger's sweet, but triggers don't mean a damn thing when the company's already shoved the pistol into the history books. The PPQ's not a bad gun, it's just a forgotten one, and that's reason enough to ignore it. And the next pistol? Well, let's just say it proves that shiny budget bargains can still bite back hard. The RP9 wasn't Remington's comeback, it was a nail in their coffin dressed up in polymer. Big frame, double stack magazine, a price tag set lower than Glock and Smith & Wesson. For a brief second, people squinted and thought maybe they got something here. But the first time I laid hands on one, I knew something weren't right. Gun show table, salesman grinning like he had struck gold, slid it over like it was a prize. I aimed it low, pulled the trigger, felt like squeezing a wet sponge. No wall, no snap, nothing to it. Just mush. Right then I knew. This pistol weren't no rival, it was a gravestone with a number stamped on it. Taking it out on the line didn't help its case none. Accuracy was middling, grip felt like clutching a plastic brick. Recoil weren't sharp, just awkward, never settled the same way twice. Folks shot it once, shook their heads, and most never bothered coming back to it. Then came the collapse. Remington was circling the drain, and dealers started stacking RP9s in clearance piles, dropping the price lower and lower. Even at half the cost of a Glock, nobody wanted them. That should tell you everything. So do yourself a favor and overlook this. The RP9 didn't revive Remington, it just helped bury it. You want to know how a gun really did in the market? Don't ask the ads, don't ask the fanboys. Watch the dealer's face when one slides across the counter. With this little pocket piece, there ain't no grin, just a sigh. It came out quiet, dressed clean, marketed as the perfect micro carry. Sleek lines, no snags, a pistol you could tuck and forget. But that's exactly what happened. People forgot. Not because it blended in like a good carry should, but because it never gave anyone a reason to remember it. Out on the line, that thing kicked harder than it had any right to. Mags jammed up, brass hanging in the port instead of flying out, left folks cussing more than feeling safe. Beretta knew the score too. They tucked it away quiet and slid in something new before folks made too much noise about it. Truth is, if you walked past the gun case back then, you probably didn't even see it. And if you did, you sure didn't care. That's the Nano's legacy. Not scandal, not glory, just a shrug. Ignore it and stick around because the next pistol on this list, folks actually trusted it until they learned the hard way. The Springfield XD ain't no Glock killer. Hell, it's not even a Glock stand-in. It's a running joke with a safety that fights you harder than the target ever will.
Folks bought into the name, strutted out of shops proud, only to drag it back weeks later, cost them the very thing they thought was their bargain of the year. Forget the brochure talk. Striker fired, railed, all dressed up with a grip safety like it's some kind of gift. That safety ain't protection, it's a handcuff. Always in the way, never pulling its weight. I've watched shooters curse it after a long day on the line, saying the pistol fought them harder than the target. Guys walk in grinning, thinking they got a deal, and come crawling back weeks later, ready to trade it for something that actually runs. And if you're thinking about fixing it up, forget it. Aftermarket's weak as a lame horse. You'll spend more time hunting down parts than putting rounds through it. Folks got a name for it now, the X don't. Why leave it behind? Easy. For the same stack of cash, you can walk out with a Glock, an M&P, maybe even a Canic, pistols that don't need excuses made for them. And if you catch a dealer pushing one of these hard, it's not cause it's in demand, it's cause he ain't got rid of it. Truth is, the XD belongs behind the glass, not in your safe. The Beretta 92 silhouette is legendary. We've all seen it on the big screen. From action flicks to war dramas, Beretta knew that, and the 92X RDO leans hard on nostalgia. Slap on an optic cut, add RDO to the name, and suddenly it's supposed to be a modern fighting pistol. But here's the truth, the 92X still drags the same weight and bulk that the old models carried 30 years ago. It's heavy on the belt, long in the slide, and in a world where slimmer, lighter double stacks rule the market, this thing feels like a relic wearing new paint. Sure, it shoots smooth. The Beretta action has always been decent, but smooth doesn't fix the price tag. For the money, you're hauling iron that underperforms against pistols half its weight and half its cost. Most shooters who grab one realize quick. They didn't buy a modern tool, they bought a memory dressed up with an optic cut. The 92X RDO does look good on a poster, maybe even on your wall, but in 2025, it doesn't belong in your holster. Nostalgia's nice and all, just don't let it drain your wallet. You don't buy a Jimenez because you want to, you buy it because you're broke, desperate, or don't know better. That's the truth. And that's why this pistol shows up in pawn shops and court cases more than it does in anyone's safe. From the frame to the firing pin, this thing screams cut corners, rough matching, sloppy fit, and a reputation for cracking where it counts. I've seen these rattle fresh out of the box, mags that don't feed, and slides that shear after a couple of hundred rounds. And when it does fire, don't trust the safety. Don't even trust the frame to hold together. Dealers know what it is. They move them because they're cheap, not because they're good. A Saturday night special dressed up with a different nameplate. And when Jimenez Arms finally went bankrupt, nobody was surprised. A company that sold junk until the law and lawsuits caught up. Ignore it, please. There are budget pistols out there that actually protect you, but this isn't one of them. The Jimenez isn't just unreliable, it's unsafe. And if you think that's bad, wait till you see how Beretta tried to dress up an old warhorse and sell it like it was the future.
I'm not here to tell you what to carry. I've made my share of dumb purchases myself, but I'll tell you this. A lot of the regrets on this list didn't show up in the first 100 rounds. They showed up when it actually mattered. When the light was bad, when the ammo wasn't perfect, when the guy next to me was watching and my gun folded. You want to trust a brand? That's fine. You want to gamble on budget legends or slick ads? Go for it, but don't say you weren't warned. If even one of these made you pause, then the video did its job. I'm Steve, and the next time you're tempted by something cheap, shiny, or even overhyped, remember this list and spend your money like it's your last shot.